Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our channel, Casual Conversation with G&A. We have Gloria and I'm Eileen, and today we have an interview with our special guest, Eric Gypsy Road from Paranormal Highway. Thank you for being with us today.
So fun. I'm excited.
Oh,
Energy.
yeah. We are
It's
too.
Leprechaun Day. It's Leprechaun Day.
Yeah.
It is.
And it is also Friday the 13th, everybody.
Yes,
So
Friday the
What's
13th.
let's
have
get
you
creepy.
seen all the Friday 13th movies?
I've seen some of them. I probably seen all of them. I
Some?
just don't remember.
Yeah, probably. It's been
Some?
so long.
Yeah,
I'm
because
older. I've been
my
to
sister, our older sister, today's her birthday. So happy
Yeah,
birthday, Candy.
yeah.
She was born on Friday the 13th. It was on a Friday. So she's all about
She
paranormal.
loves scary
Yeah,
movies.
she's like, and so we grew up with her bringing scary movies home and just
Mm-hmm.
scaring the heck out of us
Yeah,
every
she
night.
would.
So,
She's lucky because she has her birthday's today. It's on Leprechaun Day.
yes.
I just had a birthday on Sunday, and it was on Mother's Day. So
Oh,
I
Oh,
got to share
cool.
with all the great mothers in the world, and she gets to share it with the leprechauns. I mean, so
Exactly.
hopefully,
Yeah, she
hopefully
sure
she gets a
does.
pot of gold today.
I hope she does.
yeah, hopefully.
But yeah, so hi everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining and welcome to Paranormal Highway Chatters. If you guys are in here, welcome and thank you for joining. So yeah, so here we are. We've been wanting to have you come on our show for a little bit here. Um, I know that you do a show with Connor as well. Connor's been in our show as well. We love
Yeah.
him. He's super awesome. I
Yeah, I
love
saw
his
that one.
energy. Yeah. And
He,
so we were kind of like, hey, let's
he's
invite him, see if he'll come by and say hi.
he's like magical. And
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw Matt's show Spectrum, Supernatural Spectrum. He had Dave Scott from Face Out
yeah.
Radio, and they were talking about connections, the Bigfoot connection, the UFOs. He's there, and he was like, the biggest connection is Connor's hair, and that was just like fantastic. I was like, oh
I
my
saw
god,
that.
I didn't see
Yes.
that coming. I go, that's good.
I
That's
thought it was
good.
gonna be something like, ooh, like, serious, but it was like
Mm,
so funny when he said that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
Connor
right.
has
He was
beautiful hair.
serious. You thought you're gonna get a serious
Yeah.
answer, and he said Connor's hair. I was like, I like him.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, but I'm always on his channel too, Spaced Out Radio. I love that show too. It's so cool.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
so many good channels now. I mean, it's great building up that community. You got
Yeah.
Identify S4. I love his UFO stuff. Chad Smith does a good show where he brings different people on, and
Mhm.
it's all good. That's how you build a community. Get all the good people together and jump
Yep.
on each other's show and talk and just
And
have fun.
even with even in the chat, because I love to be in the chat with everybody. I go on to different channels and go in the chat, and everybody, like, you see all the same people from one channel on the other channel. And I love that because it's like, oh, these are all your friends,
yeah.
people you're hanging out with.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. It's pretty
Yeah, I
cool.
see Donnie Cho. He was on my channel today.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's a lot of great people. And I always try to make a commitment. It's hard to talk to the chat while you're doing the show, but I usually try to do my best
Right.
because they're part of the show. They make the show like you do.
Yes, they
Mm-hmm.
do. And and I feel special when they say hi to me. If I'm in the chat, they're like, "Oh, hey." And I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." I like
I
it when
know, isn't
people
that
say hi
weird?
to me. So,
I know what you're saying. You go, you pop in, and then everybody's saying hello, hello, hello. You're like,
yeah,
wow,
it's super cool.
wow. Damn, I didn't know if that many people like me.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Um, so okay, so I wanted to ask you because I do know what you cover, but for those that
Mm-hmm.
don't know, um, tell us a little bit about your channel. How did
Well,
you
we
get
cover we,
into?
well we cover everything. I mean, we cover everything. I mean, sometimes we'll go through periods of covering certain items more than others.
Mhm.
Because certain items do get boring here and there. I mean, the beginning of my channel, the channel used to be called Gypsy Road, but because society kept saying the word gypsy's a slur, and now it's like became an evil word, which they don't understand. I mean, I'm not trying to step in their toes on why it's a slur or not, but I had to change it. I changed it because Gypsy Road meant to me was going on that journey until, you can't go back. Once you're on that journey, you continue on that journey. When I first started at Gypsy Road channel, I was doing mostly paranormal. And I was doing some stupid things. Not stupid. I was trying to possess a doll on air. I tried to possess a doll. And I did what you're supposed to do. Make a homemade Ouija board, not the ones you buy in a store. Try it all. But see, I had another channel called Mr. True Thoughts. And that was actually my main channel. Gypsy Road was just my side channel that I go on other people's channels with. But that channel got taken down by YouTube back in the day in about 2016. Because YouTube's different now than it is there. People talk about people getting kicked off all the time, but you got kicked off even more back in 2016. YouTube's gotten a little bit lighter. And the funny thing is, the reason I got my channel taken down is my brother is really, truly into the Mandela effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody knows Mandela effect is mismemory, something change, whatever. So, and I was doing a paranormal channel. I'm like, hey, bro, come on my channel. I want to interview you and find out more about the Mandela effect. I want to learn more about these changes. So I had him on my channel, did a full interview. Next day, my channel gets taken down. Because at the time, Mandela effect was all considered fake.
Wow.
So it was like fake news.
And that's not even like a big deal, like the Mandela effect compared to everything else.
But get this. He does it on his channel all the time. His channel never got taken down. So we started another Mr. True Thoughts with the underscore. And I interviewed him a second time. And it got taken down.
What?
So I'm serious. That's serious.
Crazy.
And then at the time he was living in the UK, and he had to come down from the UK because he doesn't have a permit to stay there. So like every 6 months, he has to come down for a month. So he's staying at my house, and he received a strike on his channel, so he couldn't go live. He goes, I want to go live. He goes, well, I got that side Gypsy Road channel. Let's go live on there.
Right. Yeah.
That's how we started. We started live sitting on a couch. and it just went from there. Like, I kind of like this. I kind of like that name. Let's just go with it. And it's been there for the last like 2-3 years. And all that. So and it started with the paranormal, and then we got in heavy with Mandela effects, trying to learn everything about it, everybody different changes and interviews and all that. And it was fun, but then it's hard to explain, but out of all communities, you're talking about the UFOs, you're talking about Bigfoot, and we all know there's always some troubles in every community. We know that. But Mandela Effects has the biggest troubles out of all communities. I mean, I'm talking about you gotta be careful what you say, because people are ready to pounce on you in that field. I mean, it's crazy. It is. It's worse than Bigfoot. It's worse than.
I didn't know this.
No,
this is news to me.
It gotten bad. It really gotten so bad. I don't know how to explain it, because it's almost like there's a truther community out there. I got nothing against truthers, but sometimes I don't care about politics and how far the government's taking over the world, blah, blah, blah. I'm not really too much into that. And it seemed like they all invaded the Mandela effect, and it's like they're all just using it. And then every time you come out with something, right, here's a change. Talk about trolls beating you up like you're a liar, you're a fake, that's not real. It's like the only community that really pounce on you. Wow. But, it is what it is. But, and we always talked about Bigfoot and UFOs, but we didn't talk about Bigfoot and UFO a lot in the beginning, or Bigfoot in the beginning, because I think we grew up different than a lot of people. Because a lot of people I hear, all the interviews, the stories, how they say parents told them horror stories about Bigfoot in the woods and all that. We never had that. Maybe it's because we had, no mom, one father, 3 brothers. It was all boys. We always went in the mountains. We're taught by our family that this is Bigfoot's country. This is their forest. You got to respect them. So there's always a respect factor. Nobody was really scared.
Yeah, or think that it wasn't real.
Now, I'm sure if you see one right out front in front of your face, that's going to change. But
Yeah.
so it, and it was surprising to me, especially on social media with YouTube and so many other things, when you start learning that, wow, there's a lot of people that don't believe in Bigfoot. I thought everybody believed in Bigfoot. I really
Okay.
did,
Yes.
because all our families like, that's their territory. This is our territory.
Yeah, and just like I was gonna say, that reminds me, like, I think a couple weeks ago, I was showing some of my family pictures of, some Bigfoot sightings and things like that, and they were like, "What? I thought this was a myth. I thought this is fake." Like,
Oh,
and I was like, and I just looked at them like, "Okay, I guess you're not my type, like you don't get it." But yeah, it's still like some people just and it was amazing to me that people still think, "Oh, this is not
yeah,
real. There's no way it's possible, or we would have had more evidence, or there would have been a body." Like, but it's just, I don't know, like it's
it's
just,
weird.
I believe it, and
Maybe it's because we surround ourselves with people who believe in the same thing, and we don't
yeah.
realize that other people don't. And we don't. It's not something we talked about outside of house and all that, because there was nothing to be scared of. I mean, and we had our own encounter when we were kids. Because now this is the problem. I think sometimes when parents make it like Bigfoot's no big deal, sometimes I think as teenagers or young kids, you might do stupid things. And what I mean is there was a night. I know Hobbs from my channel. I know he heard this story and all that. When we go hunting, there's like two ways we go hunting. There's a group of people that go in vehicles, and that's usually the older people that can't walk, and the
Mhm.
young people walk. And then when it gets kind of dark, we meet at a certain spot, and we all get in the vehicles, and we go back to the camp. Go back to the camp, drink some beers, or still beers from our parents if you're not 21. You know that game. We all done it. We all done it. We all stole beer.
Yes, we have.
We all did. To the point where my uncle made his ice chest creak on purpose. He did something so when that ice chest opens, you would hear it. He did it on
Like,
purpose because
hey.
everybody kept stealing the alcohol. But so one night we all got in the vehicle, and we're driving back to camp, and then you heard the fuck. I'm sorry, I don't know if you heard it out the cuss.
No,
I'm
it's
sure you are.
okay. It's okay.
You heard the fucking, you heard the noise, you heard the scream. I can't really explain it because I was really young. We all heard it, and then you saw this fucking thing. You saw this thing in the woods, and all the young people got out of the cars and start chasing it.
What?
Well, because listen, nobody was afraid, because it was taught like it was normal, and then everybody's running. It was no freaking bear, because bears get on all four. This thing was running on 2 feet. Everybody was running. Weapons, guns. I had a little pocket knife. I ran behind my brother and them because I was like the youngest. I was the youngest, and everybody was chasing us down it, and it's no bear. It's no deer.
No.
This thing was stepping heavy, and I don't know where it was, to a point where it just disappeared. I mean, it just like disappeared. Like it's like if you look on the ground, you see broken twigs, broken this. All of suddenly, there was nothing broken. It was just gone. I'm not saying portals. I don't know.
That was what I was just thinking.
I don't, I don't know. I mean, portals is ones that I'm not 100% on board until I actually see it. But it was gone. And then I remember when everybody got back to the car, the parents were so pissed off. Like, what the fuck you kids think you're doing? Running after this thing. And I think my brother said, well, you told us they're friends. I mean, maybe they shouldn't tell us that these things, this is their country. Maybe we want it. But, when you're young, you're stupid. You have adrenalized and we're kids. Nobody had cameras. There was no cell phones when we were kids. I mean, we're talking 80s, and all that. And You know,
I bet it was fun
goes
though.
back to camp and talks about it. You know, it was like that day. Like, man, the parents, they're right. This is their country. This is their land.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and of course, ever since then, we've never seen another one like that. I mean, we all hear noises at night, but noises are so hard to determine. But
Yeah.
growing up, I mean, we were always into the paranormal. You know, UFOs. We're always on the lookout for UFOs and paranormal, trying to make ghosts happen. You know, we had the costumes, and then, you know, every time you had those church people that walk around, knock on your doors. Every time they would knock on our doors, kids, we had the black robes. People would put on the black robes on purpose, like, oh, we're just doing a devil worshiping back here. Oh, what do you got here? Oh, God, Jesus. I'm not making fun of religion, people, but you know, my house was all men. Boys, there was no mom, no daughters, sisters, nothing. It was just all men. So we kind of did whatever we wanted.
Yeah.
But nobody went to jail or anything, so it was good, you know. Because
You guys
I
are
grew up in California
yeah.
too. I grew up in Fresno.
Oh, did you?
That's my hometown.
Really?
Fresno State Bulldogs all the way.
Wow.
All the way. That's why I have a bulldog, because they represent.
So where do you live now?
I live now in Seattle. I joined the Coast Guard, went all over the United States and all that. Got stationed in Seattle, and my wife is actually from New York. And if you're not born in Fresno, it's not a place where I recommend anybody to move to unless you're born there. So I didn't want my wife to. Mm-hmm. She's seen Fresno. She's like, "Oh my God, this is brown and flat, and hot.
It is hot.
106 degrees, you know, all year round." So, well, how about Seattle? We were stationed there. Let's go back there. So,
yeah,
you know, so we stay here, but we still go to California every year to visit. Wow. You know,
yeah, that's where we've born and raised in California. Yeah. So
I was supposed to be there at the end of May, but it ain't gonna happen.
Oh man. Well,
I'm sure you'll. And I got Star Wars passes to the Star Wars convention.
Oh, and that's here in California?
Yeah, in Anaheim. I bought it 3 years ago. Because of the pandemic, it got postponed to the point that I forgot it was this year. And I opened up the mail like, holy crap. It's this year. It's in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, oh, man.
So you're not making it?
No.
Oh, man.
No. I wish. But, man, I told people I admire what you two are doing. And I mention this on my channel because sometimes I'll do a show called once in a while I'll have a show called The Young Guns, and I'll bring in all the young people like Matt, Connor, and he'll bring in all the young people because the future of the communities are going to be people like yourselves. And you know, it's we all know community looks down on all the subjects. They look down on UFOs, paranormal. They look down on it. They do. Yeah. So when you get older, you kind of get that, who gives a fuck what they think, right? But when you see young people like yourselves right off the bat saying basically, you know, we like this stuff. We don't care what you think. It is so inspiring. It's so fantastic. I mean, I mean it when I say you're all the future. Because you know, these cons, I remember Connor was talking about these cons. You know, some of these cons, they get a little boring because, no offense, you got some older people, they talk like this. Yeah, we investigated 2 days ago. I mean, you know, I'm not making fun of them, but you know what I mean. You know, they talk like that. But then you see a guy like Connor. Well, you know, you feel the excitement. I mean, that's the future. That's how you bring people on. And
yeah, you get hooked on that energy
and all that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, why are you two into all this stuff? I mean, did you two both have some kind of main experience that you had to get into this game? Or you have passion for it?
Well, with the paranormal, I think it's just been, you know, our parents are both Mexican. They're from Mexico, and we were raised
a lot of
superstition, paranormal,
which where the experiences that they've had or family members have
witch doctors.
You ain't kidding, because there's a town called Kerman right there in Fresno. It's like connected Fresno. So in Kerman, when my mom left, she stole the car. She stole my dad's last check. We had nothing. I mean, no, I'm serious. We had nothing. So my dad had a friend. He had this had this apartment, rundown apartment, and it was connected to an auction. One of those Sunday auctions with when I grew up. Don't hate me for this, people. They had chicken fights. They had all that. I mean, this was. I'm not saying gutter, but this is down, and we were like the only white family in this block, and it was mostly like Spanish and Punjabis. We had a big Punjabi community and all that, and one of the things I've learned was you're right. The spiritual, the crosses, the folklore stories, the beliefs,
Yeah.
even some voodoo and stuff. It was so you might be right. Maybe that's why I was so into it, because I was surrounded by it, and it was maybe
Yeah, no.
and,
And that's how it started for us. I mean, ever since we were kids, we've had these stories. I
Mhm.
mean, we would go to Mexico every summer and we would see, rituals happening, people cleansing. And so
Yeah.
there was always a lot of paranormal. The
yes,
Bigfoot stuff didn't start. And I think it started when we were kids.
Yeah.
My dad was always a hunter. He would go out and
Mhm.
hunt with his friends and they would talk about it. And so that's how I think, kind of got exposed to the Bigfoot, phenomenon. I was like, what do you mean Bigfoot? Like, what is going on? And then, the video, that old video, the
Yeah.
first sighting,
the main one with the breast.
yes, that was me. That was like, okay, yeah, it's true. It's out there. Like, definitely, it's real. And so ever since, I mean, I've always thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I don't think I would want to see one.
Yeah.
I think I would be too scared.
I feel like that would be scary, but last summer we were planning a trip right
Yes.
to the lake.
It's called Shaver Lake up in
I know Shaver Lake.
yes.
Yeah.
I know Shaver Lake. Where are you two from?
We're Central California.
So we're almost in the near
Yes.
neighborhood.
That's
Shaver
why I was like,
Lake,
oh wait,
Milliken
but
Lake,
yeah, we
Bath
were born.
Lake.
Yeah, we were born and raised in California, San Fernando Valley.
Oh wow!
So from there we moved up here,
I'm in
and then now,
Valley.
yeah. So that's how we kind of. So we were planning that trip to Shaver Lake, and we heard that there was a lot of Bigfoot activity up there.
Yeah, and they had a store right with a Bigfoot mural.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, that sounds really cool. Let's check it out, and like just like because it sounds fun, right?
Oh.
But like
you know what? I have one of my bucket lists is to get a footprint. I'll be fine with just a footprint, me doing the casting myself and everything, but I don't want to see one. I don't think I can handle that.
yeah, that would be scary.
I wish I had it here. I have a belt buckle, and the belt buckle says Mendota, and nobody knows what Mendota is. my father, he worked at a Spreckles sugar plant when it was called Spreckles out in Mendota his whole life. So I got this belt buckle says Mendota, and everybody looks at it like,
what do you
what's
mean?
Mendota? I go,
No,
you don't understand the grapevine world.
The grapevines, yeah.
That's awesome. I love Mexico. I think the last time I went to Mexico is when I went to Cabo.
Oh yeah, we've never been to Cabo's. I'd love to go though.
Yeah, that sounds.
Yeah, I went to Cabo one year because Sammy Hagar did his birthday bash. I think he still does at the Cabo Wobble Club, and oh man, I loved it. What I love about Mexico is it's only, dude, you stay at a 4-star, their 4-star, 5-star hotel, and you get a waiter. We're on the balcony, and the waiter down there just looks up at us and goes, "You guys want to buy any?" At a 4-star hotel, and I'm like, "Oh, I love Mexico because they're like nobody cares.
No,
we'll sell to you." And it's like one of these fancy 4 stars, and it's like, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. I like going. But I wanted to ask you. So I know you've seen or had experiences with Bigfoot. Have you encountered it up close, or has it just been that far away?
Never up close. Never that lucky. Even when we try to go looking for one and stuff, never got back to that moment. And it's kind of sad, right? You hear all these stories with certain people that seem like it's happening to them 3-4 times. Right. And you're like, how does it happen 3-4 times and you can't even get it to happen twice for yourself? Is it luck? Is it not? Or are they telling the truth too?
Do you think that they have like a cloaking act? Like they're able to cloak at all?
Ooh, I love this kind of stuff. This is like, well, listen, there's animals, right? There's frogs and stuff that can
Yes.
adapt to the environment, that can
Yes.
change color.
Chameleons.
And who says they can't? And listen, that's their land. And one of the things I always hate people, where's the bones? And I'm like, and I always fucking hated that. Where's the bones? And I go, you guys ever been in the mountains? Do you guys ever go hunting? You ever walk out in the middle of the woods? Do you see deer bones? No.
Yep.
Do you see birds? No. Do you see raccoons, squirrels, all this stuff? You never see bones. It gets eaten up by the environment out there, and it's so dumb and stuff. Unless you live maybe top of the world where their bones get frozen in the ground or stuff. But
yeah,
I always hated that and all that. But there is a lot of fantastic things that I have learned just recently. Like I follow a guy named Mike, Long Island Bigfoot. And I really love watching him because he's, he studies the environment, right? He studies the cracks, how the trees are bending. Where in the past, that wasn't us. We just go walk around and trying to see with our eyes. I wasn't looking at the ground like you're saying about the footprint. That's what you want to get. Honestly, I never thought about the footprints because to me, I just want to see up close again. It's not even about the picture, because even if you're standing right there, I know you're not standing in front of me from my door, and I took a picture and you were Bigfoot, nobody's going to believe it anyway.
No.
They're always going to say it's fake. So
right.
I just want it for personal. But I do think they camouflage with their environment. It's like evolution. Like the craziest things in the world. Even like the movie Jurassic Park, right? If we had 2 male frogs, one will become female because life has to continue. It has babies. Bigfoot's been here longer than us. They know that land. They know that country. I believe they know you're there. I believe they smell you. They know. And you always hear all these experts and all that. Most of these stories that you hear, the people that actually have sightings are not experts. They just happen to be there at the right time, right place. I'm not saying training doesn't help, to learn everything, but I still think being there at the right time and right place.
Mm-hmm.
They say Washington is the number 1 hotspot for Bigfoots. That's what I've heard. But I've been living up here now probably about 15 to 20 years now, and I have never seen one evidence of Bigfoot up here. But of course, in California, up in the mountains, the Sierra Mountains, we did. And over here is supposed to be the hot spot. So I just think sometimes it's just the luck of the draw. And I think they can camouflage. I'm not saying they can't I don't think they go invisible, but I think they can almost color themselves like a bush, a tree, and that kind
because
of thing.
because a lot of people say that they have this smell, right? When they're around, you get this sulfur smell, or and that makes sense that maybe they are trying to like put something on themselves, like even like just mud or something to kind of, I'm sure they have all these.
Well, look at your dog. Your dog's got better smell than we do. Man, they go crazy when they smell certain things.
Yes.
And that's a dog. I mean, this is a full 6'7" feet. You don't think they got, what does it say, Eric? I agreed. Never found anything looking for stuff. My encounters were always just doing something, and it happened that way. I mean, you hear that all the time. A lot of the UFO people saying they were just out walking and they saw something.
Because thinking about when I throughout this journey of learning more, because even here when I go on people's channels, I learn about how you were talking about the cracking of the trees or the branches or footprints, and that stuff that I didn't even know about until like the tree knocking. I think I've heard of that before, but it's all little things that kind of guide you into, okay, they're
and if you do see a footprint, then you start, like you said, you learn some things. Well, okay, size it right away. Find something. Bring something with you. There's little links so you can like put it right on the ground and do the best you can trying to size it. And it's, my brother, Dr. Wu, he went to college for archaeologists, so he's been around the world, places where they learn to write everything down. And so when him and I used to go to places, write everything down. If you feel something, what's in the air, what kind of night is it? Full moon, light moon, big moon, whatever you think, how little or big you think, you write it all down, because there might be a connection for that next time. Because there is nothing science, right? Because if it is, everybody would have a Bigfoot in their backyard chained up, or everybody will see a ghost and stuff. Listen, it seems like everybody who goes to Gettysburg all sees ghosts, and I lived in Frederick, Maryland. When I had to transfer jobs, I lived there for a couple of years, and Frederick, Maryland's 10 minutes away from Gettysburg. So we're always in Gettysburg. We used to investigate ourselves in Gettysburg, and honestly never once saw a ghost there. What? Never. And everybody says like the most haunted, and it probably is. It's just, we're out of luck. But then I learned something from my friend Nicole from the Paranormal Vel channel. She's like, Eric, things probably do happen all around you. Sometimes you just gotta learn how to, like that old word, meditation, right? Learn to breathe and slow down your brain, slow down some stuff, and really concentrate, because then maybe you'll start seeing things. And then of course that one day on my show when I was doing the EVP, and that was live. I don't know if you've seen that one, where that was live, and I asked to move something, and then on air, and people heard it too. That I heard a cracking noise, and I went up and I looked, and the whole green screen came down.
Wow!
When I asked for it,
that's crazy.
No, and that happened on air, and
that's one of the other things that I was going to say. What if they can kind of choose who they want to appear to? Does that make sense? Like, or even they're like selective. They're selective, or maybe they can feel like, oh, this person maybe like isn't open enough to see me, or maybe they're so, like, do you think that they have that ability to kind of pick and choose?
They have to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many stories. You guys know Anthony, right? Unidentified S Fart. He talked about his dream the other night. I was on his channel, and the night before he had this dream, and he saw them doing stuff to him in his arm, installing something, and he woke up with this massive amount of pain, like hurting inside, and then what about, my brother and I had some strange little phenomenons. I know this might sound weird. There was 3 occasions that I busted my ankle. He busted his body part the same day. And then another incident happened where I hurt like an arm, and it was like 3:00 in the morning, and then he got hurt, and then he had a tattoo, not my tattoo, but he had a tattoo that had a white spot now over his tattoo. Wow. And we had this injury. And then this last one, and I don't know if there's a connection. I don't know. And then, but it seemed like every time majorly hurt. Last time I was late for a show because I had to come back from a doctor because I found out I had a tear in the muscle. Don't know how, just tore. And the same night, actually, he didn't have a tear, but he had I think he had like marks.
That's crazy.
And we're brothers, and he's in the UK, I'm here, and it's like, and then you hear stories that, sometimes people are taken without knowing, but you feel rips or something, and then brothers can have feeling connections, and I can't prove any of it. It's almost impossible, but
yeah,
one time, like, oh, that's just luck. Second time, wow, that's luck.
No, I think
it's a rip.
Yeah,
I ripped, and I don't. No, I had to go to
some telepathy, some type.
Go to rehab, not rehab, but whatever they call it, to repair this.
Yeah, like therapy, like
But then when I listened to Anthony, that he said, in the same area where they install something in him, I'm like, wow. I'm not saying, because I woke up with the pain. It wasn't that during the day, like, woo, did I do something? I woke up, I'm like, oh my God, I can't move my left arm.
Yeah.
Could I?
So maybe you have an implant.
No, could I? It's just God. There's so many things, like so many rabbit holes. It's
Have
just,
you seen any UFOs?
I mean, UFOs are the hardest ones ever, right? I mean, they really are difficult. Have I
Yeah.
seen different color stuff in the air? Yeah, but I mean, nothing ever close where like, oh
Mhm.
my God, this is the Millennium Falcon right in front of me,
Yeah.
or look at this ship. I love my ship. Oh, oh, you know, like like oh, this is my baby. This is my
That's
baby.
cool.
I never saw this up out front. Never done nothing like that. But it's so hard.
Yeah, it is.
Especially nowadays about the drones now and all that. So the only thing you could do with UFOs is kind of listen to like what Anthony was like, kind of like teaching, like look at the speed, how fast is it going? Because you know how fast normal aircraft happens and everything. And it's just, do I believe we've been visited and there's life out there? You damn straight I do. I mean, anybody's a damn fool if they think this freaking planet is the only planet that has lives. I don't know how anybody could ever think that. With
Yeah.
billions and billions of planets that, of course, we're not Star Trek. We're not out there yet. But
Right.
thinking, this is the only planet that has life, and then I hear some people, well, yeah, there's probably life, but they never visited. What? So we're the one planet that have lives, and then other planets have lives, but we're the most advanced planet. Come on, give me a break.
No.
We're not the most advanced planet. We're the most evil planet. I believe they are been here and they have research. Why they haven't talked to us? Because they know how evil we are. Dude, we still fight with each country still, right?
They're like, no way. I don't want to. That's the
like
bad planet.
We still have walls. Like, America's got to build a wall with Canada, Mexico. It's like, we're still talking about building walls. I mean, why would anybody come here when we can't even be one world?
We can't be friends.
We can't be friends. So they're probably exploring, like, should we ever come here? Because I believe the only.
I mean, if you were an alien, right? And would you want to come here? Or would you be like out there, like exploring like all this other planet? They're like,
I think there's only two reasons why they're here: to explore or to kill us. And we're still alive, so we're not killed. They're just exploring. They're not going to get involved, and they're going to go on because we cannot handle it yet as humans. And now this might get into conspiracy world. Do I think that there's people in our government that know about this? Oh, fuck yeah, 100%. I've been in the military, not like that high up. But there's things in the military that I know that human or the public will never know. They can't know because we all know.
But you know these things.
We know the average human cannot accept aliens. They can't.
Right.
The world will collapse if they learn that there is life beyond us. Or people will look for any excuse to not go to work anymore or to disabandon life itself because now there's alien life, so it will never be known and it'll always be destroyed or it's sad to say that they'll probably be on an operating table, which technically I guess we're on an operating table with them, so I guess
that's crazy.
Isn't it?
Yeah, and the thing is that I don't think population would handle it well at all. I think, I mean, even with what just happened with the pandemic, it was a mass hysteria, right? So I'm thinking if this was to happen, if, like they were to come out and say, yeah, there's aliens and they're walking amongst us, like everybody would freak out.
I know. That's and you know what? It's not all humans' fault, right? It's the media that makes money off of this. They're the one that keeps pushing it forward because a news only gets ratings when it's happening. When we were in the height of the sickness,
when it's bad stuff.
When we were in the height of the sickness, CNN, Fox News had the highest ratings they ever had. Now the ratings kind of dying down, so they need something dramatically to exploit to get their ratings back up, because it's all about ratings and money, and it's not really about us,
sad.
right? It's really sad, but I mean, what are you gonna do, right?
And I've always thought, like, I'm like, oh, because they say that there's different types of aliens, right? There's like the grays, there's like the little guys, like there's different types. And I'm like, well, I mean, would you ever want to see one? Would you ever want to experience any type of alien, like, I don't know, encounter?
I would
Meet one, maybe?
I would. I know what you're saying. Do you want to encounter? But man, I would love to. I mean,
Really?
what
You're
the
not
heck?
afraid? Like, it doesn't scare you at all?
Oh, it's gonna scare the shit out of you. But man, I probably have to wear adult diapers down there for a little bit, because you don't know what the hell's gonna happen. But God, I think it'll kill you worse to not know than if you have the opportunity to know. And I know it's a big thing, right? Because what if they offer you to go up in a ship, right? You don't
No.
know what's gonna happen once you
No.
step on that ship.
But that's the thing, though. Like, all these people that have claimed or that have had these abduction stories are not, like, good per se. Like, they have these traumatic experiences because they experiment on them, or, they do things. So it's kind of like, that's why, it gets you thinking, like, why would they do that? Like, so it's kind of scary in that sense.
Yeah, and then what are they looking for? But then it's like us, what are we looking for? They're probably looking forward to see how we could breathe on this planet. Maybe they're trying to learn on how they can adapt. Who knows? How, or America will always say, well, we're operating on them because we're looking for cure to diseases. They might have some stuff in their bodies that could cure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For America, it's all about the money.
Yeah, because if we were to capture them or have some, I'm sure maybe the government might have some. I don't know. But how would they be treated? How would we treat them? How would we experiment on them as well? And it's the same scenario, I think.
Now,
I mean,
I do have a guy coming on my channel this upcoming Wednesday who says that he is not human. He is from another planet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He says he's borrowing a body. So I'm like, okay.
That's gonna be cool.
Okay. Hey, who am I saying he's not telling me the truth?
Yeah, exactly.
Is he? I'll ask him certain questions, try to.
Yeah, we're gonna go on there.
Borrowing a body, because I got a lot of questions. Because I'm like, well, if you're borrowing a body, what's happened to the original soul of that body?
Right.
Is that soul dead? Is he gone? Is he trapped? Is that right of you to take somebody else's body, or is it a clone? Right?
Yeah, there you go. All these questions.
I gotta know. I gotta find out.
Exactly. That's great. I'm gonna hop on that channel, that chat, so I can ask some questions too. Sounds like a fun one.
That's gonna be fun.
I know, because even Dave Scott, he has I think there has been a few guests that he's had where they can either telepathically, like, communicate with the extraterrestrials, and they are able to, like, ask them questions and they answer through his body. Like, it's pretty interesting. Like, I was very interested. I was like, what? Really? Like, I want to ask questions.
You have to ask questions.
Exactly.
You have to, because if you believe everything you hear right off the bat, then you're a fool. You have to ask questions. You have to research every single thing, because I'm sure everybody who tells you're from another planet, they're probably not. There's probably only maybe 1% that probably is, but maybe that person is the 1% or the 2%. Who am I to say?
Yeah.
So that's why you got to ask those questions. That's find where's this person from, and try to determine, because I hate to say it, there are a lot of crazies out there. There are everybody's looking for that fame. So now some people will say, Eric, sounds like you believe in everything. No, I don't believe in everything. I give everybody a fair chance. I want to hear everything, because who am I to say it's true? Who am I to say it's not true? I show videos on mine. I don't tell anybody that it's real or not. I know when I do the Mandela effect segments, I believe that there's been changes, but I know the majority of the people during that segment don't believe it at all. But that's always weird to me too, right?
Yeah.
It's always weird to me because you're willing to believe in UFOs, aliens, you're willing to believe in paranormal stuff and Bigfoots, but you're not willing to believe in this. Or listen, there's been people on the Bigfoot side and the UFO side that don't want anything to do with each other. Nothing. I've talked to some UFO people like, get that shit out of here. There is no connection with UFOs and Bigfoot. Listen, I'm not saying every Bigfoot sighting there's a connection with UFOs, but there's been some cases, maybe there could be a connection, and there are groups that won't hear it.
Wow.
And if you're into the Bigfoot, why would you not be at least into the paranormal, right? Because this is why. I think of all this shit. I don't know why. If I'm out in the woods and if I hear, a knock, first thing people might say, "Oh, that's a bear. That's an animal." What if it's paranormal? What if it's go to a haunted house? You hear knocks, right? You hear knocks,
right? Yes.
People have died all around the world on almost every part of the land. So there's ghosts and spirits. There's a lot of Native Americans that have died in the United States, and Native Americans have great spiritual. They believe that their energy doesn't evaporate, doesn't go away. They go somewhere. There's a lot of that energy. So why would you not want to learn everything you can about the paranormal? Because that might help you out. I have a friend named Val who did an investigation at a graveyard, a paranormal investigation. And during her paranormal investigation, she saw past the gravestones red eyes with a growl. And she said, not a demon. She goes, she saw the shape of a Bigfoot, and she wasn't even there for that. So don't you rather be prepared and not prepared? Now, UFOs are different. I don't know how you really get prepared for UFOs because you mostly look up. You're not really up there, but the paranormal and Bigfoot, I would think you want to know both. I know Matt's going to be coming out with his documentary soon, and Matt from the Spiritual Spectrum channel, or he used to be called the South Florida Sasquatch. I'm forgetting his name, but in his documentaries coming out, they mix paranormal within the Bigfoot hunt. They mix some of the techniques that you would use trying to find ghosts. They took along with them on the Bigfoot hunt. So there are people some people that are actually taking some studies and using it both on a research. Because, hey, you might not find a Bigfoot, but you might actually catch some voices.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's another thing with the paranormal. I mean, I've heard of a lot of people going hand in hand, right? Like you have an experience even with like burial grounds, right? Like there's so many people that hear stuff, see stuff. There are creatures, cryptids around the area. So I feel like it could definitely be connected in some way, or maybe use the same type of energy. I don't know. Like there's just, I don't know.
See, I love the paranormal more than any other subject. I really do. I love the paranormal because I believe the greatest answer is within the paranormal. And what I mean is, listen, if Bigfoot's real or not, that's not really going to change my life too much.
Yeah.
Even though I know, he's real. UFOs, if they're real or not, that I guess that can change your life if they come to our planet and stuff. But paranormal, to know that where your energy goes when you die. I mean, that's the ultimate question, right? You're alive or you're dead. What happens when you're dead? And I'm not saying the ghosts are the answers, but God, if there's a ghost, if there's something in front of you, that's energy. I like what Brown Dwarf says. Energy can't be destroyed, only transformed. And to me, that's the greatest answer of all. What happens to us after we die? Because we all kind of want to live forever in a way, but do we live forever if our body dies? And I don't know why. I feel like that answer is within the paranormal world, because I know, God, I feel like, I don't know why. Maybe because I feel like I have died before. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to explain because there's been a lot of times when I know that I can't believe I'm still alive. And I still sometimes I can't believe my brother's still alive. You know, when I was a baby, I flew out of a car right before my mom left because she left. I was a baby. I think she was on something and she wrecked the vehicle. And it's in they had the paperwork that I actually flew out of the car as a baby, flew out and hit my head and still lived. You know, and they're amazed that my grandpa he was a minister. He said we used to call you miracle baby because we don't know how you survived that. You know, and there's been times a lot of people who's been on my channel know that when I was a kid, I saw snow across the street. My father told me don't get out of the car, but I didn't listen. I got out of the car, down a hill, a big truck, a pickup truck came down, hit me. I flew in the air, flew out of my shoes, and I remember this spinning on the road, and I think I gave almost everybody a heart attack. I think they're the ones who almost died, and they came to me, and no broken arms, no broken legs, nothing. They didn't even take me to the hospital. And I got up and I ran to the snow. And I mean, it hit me hard. I mean, I remember flying in the air, but it's like, damn, do I have a guardian angel? And then even sometimes I think maybe my family's lucky because my brother got on a motorcycle with his cousin and uncle, 3 people on a motorcycle. Talk about how stupid that was. They were driving down the road in the Syrian mountains, hit a rock, and went off a cliff. One had a broken neck. They had to get him out with the helicopter. And my brother was hanging on the side of the cliff and actually climbed up and stuff. And everybody lived, but it's like, how many 9 lives do we get? You know, I was on a cable wire because used to be a cable guy. I was in the air on a ladder when a cable string from a house snapped. And when that happened, it's like a rubber band. Everything shakes. And then my hooks was around this wire, and the wire came under and went back and got itself stuck on a bolt. And
crazy.
if I want to tell you how shitless scared I was, I should have been on the ground. I should have, how lucky did I get that I swung back down and where the metal clip goes like this, it got connected with that angle part. It got stuck on it. And, it's like, I'm like, sometimes is it all luck? It could be luck, but I'm like, is something keeping
protecting
me
you
on purpose?
Yes. I think so.
I should have been dead as a baby. And, and it, don't get me wrong, it actually caused some damages. I was actually 80% deaf when I was a kid. I was 80% deaf, and get this, nobody knew it. I was 80% deaf. I guess, and then one day I was in first grade. They actually sent me to a special school because they thought I was slow.
But it was just a hearing, yeah.
Because I wouldn't respond. So they sent me to another school, and it was kind of embarrassing when you're a kid because when everybody takes buses, I was being picked up in a special car. And let me tell you, kids pick on you.
Yes, they do.
They pick on you. Trust me, I was picked on. And then one day the teacher looked at my ears like, I don't think he can hear right. And went to the doctor, 80% deaf, had to get operations. And people always ask, well, Eric, how come you didn't tell people you couldn't hear? And I'm like, well, how do you know?
Exactly.
I mean, I learned to look at people's lips. And since I lived in the house with all guys, they all talk loud as it is.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I mean, it's not like, how are you supposed to hear?
Wow.
So, it is what it is. But sometimes I do wonder if I'm here for a reason, and I want to be. I hope, because it'd be nice.
Yeah. So other than like that scenario, have you had any experiences like ghost encounters or I know you talked about trying to possess that doll live, but have you had any weird?
My brother brought up a story, and it's always a story that most people don't even. It's like a story that nobody here now. We had a different kind of an experience. We had a different kind of experience at Gettysburg. Not experience where we were walking, we saw a ghost, but we went one time, and we told this to Anthony that we walked into. If you've been to Gettysburg, they have all those wood fences and all that, and the battlegrounds and all that, and there's a battleground to the right where it looked like they were doing a reenactment, big reenactment. So my brother and I stopped. We went to the reenactment, and now we both have different memories of this part. And they come to you, it's like, did you bring any bread? I remember the word bread. My brother said they never said bread. They said, God, what did he say? I forgot what he said. Like two different memories of this. But we walked into their camp. And we thought it was a reenactment. We're having fun, eating food and talking to everybody. And then we left, and I can't remember how it was, but we got there at a certain time, like 3:00, and then felt like we were there for like 5-6 hours. We're like, this is the greatest thing in our life. We're part of this whole reenactment. And so, hey, we got to go. We got to get to work the next day. And then we go back to the car, and it was only like 3:30. It was only like 30 minutes. What? And then the weirdest part is we left, and we go back, and according to people, we try to find flyers, we're trying to find proof. There was no reenactment.
That's crazy.
No reenactment was done. We try to research, like, no way, no. There's no way. It's like we felt like we lost all these hours, and because we felt like we were there forever. And it was just one of those weirdest things. It's so weird because you hear these stories like individuals, but we were there together.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we had those 3 injuries, and it's like, is there some kind of connection? Because I should have died getting hit, flying out of a car. You went off a cliff. Is there something that just some kind of weird connections? Somebody wrote it perfectly. Time distortion.
Yeah,
I was looking
time
at
distortion. That. Did we really have a time distortion?
That's crazy.
And he might have been high. I think he might have smoked some, but my job, my job deals with. I was a supervisor. We're not. They do drug testing. They ran them. So I was on nothing. So I think he was on marijuana. But did something happen?
It's possible.
Yeah.
And I've heard of that before. Like even on Art Bell, he used to have a lot of people that would call and have like either time warps or time distortion, time lapses.
Your show that day.
Huh?
I watched your show that day you did on Art Bell.
Yeah.
Because we did a show like 8 months ago on Art Bell. Because if you think he's real or fake or not, doesn't matter. Art Bell brought it up to the forefront. All these stories. And Art Bell is part of the reason why there's a lot of people that are into the paranormal investigations and all that. And always when people say, well, I hate TV shows, I hate that, I go, yeah, but sometimes that's what inspires people to go into the field, to look into it. Isn't that what matters the most?
Yeah.
And were some of the calls crazy? Yeah. But doesn't mean they're all fake, right?
Yeah.
I always tell people that out of 100 UFOs, it only takes 1 out of 100 to prove that there's a ship from outer space. Doesn't need all 100. You're just looking for that 1. You don't need all of it. Yeah. And all those phone calls Art Bell used to get, the governments are after me, I'm in hiding.
I know.
Maybe one of them were.
But you know what? They were always so entertaining, and that's the thing. That's why people loved it, because everything is just so entertaining. It keeps you on the edge. What's going to happen next? So it's definitely super like intriguing and interesting for people. For me it was.
Art Bell, Howard Stern, those radios, those early radio people really brought the stories into the radio. And they were the frontiers of social media just without seeing their faces.
Yeah.
Now we get to do this, and we all get to see the faces. And
Yeah, we get
I
to
like
see
it.
each other.
I like it better now because now people can really pick and choose
Yeah.
what they want to believe and hear.
And that's the other thing too, that I enjoy the lives more than I do the pre-recorded videos. I feel because there's more interaction and you get to be part of it and ask questions. So
Isn't that true? That is so true. When I first started doing the world news segment, because in the past, most of my show was we just did 3 live shows a week, Mondays, Wednesday, and Friday. And I was getting a little not exhausted. I'm like, man, that's a lot of live 2-hour shows. So I decided to do the segments, the news show segment. And when I was doing those, at first I was uploading them.
yeah.
I would record it. But then, like you said, sometimes you feel like you're missing an element of talking to people, getting their point of view, because the whole point of view of doing the news channel was to bring in the Bigfoots, the UFOs, paranormal, Medellfics, all on one. So you get to hear something about everything, and then we can all have that discussion. And you can't do that when you're uploading. You can't get
Right.
somebody's point of view because I tell this. Some people say, Eric, that guy you just showed, he's a fraud, he's a fake. And I'd be like, good, that's great. But okay, now you're in the Bigfoot field. You've been in there for 20 years. You know everybody who's fake or fraud. Some people in the paranormal who's just new to it don't know. This is why we do this, so we can share across all information, because it's impossible for all of us to know everything.
Yeah.
Now everybody's had their expertise. If I needed some UFO expertise, I'm gonna go to Anthony. And I got some go-to people that I go to for paranormal, because I got some good friends that are mediums. My friend Nicole, she did from the Veil Paranormal channel. She actually was a medium and did some police work. They actually called her in on some police. She
Yeah.
lives in the Midwest. And now people say, well, mediums aren't real. Well, if they're not, then how come some of them do get called in on a police investigation? I mean, otherwise, that's just a waste of taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
So there have to be something there. Now, do I believe everybody's a medium? No, but I do believe that some people can talk. Amber's Paraworld. My God. I don't know if you guys met her.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I've seen her channel.
Amber's Paraworld. If you guys ever get a chance to really know somebody, do like some private readings and stuff. Because there was a night that she was on my channel and she goes, Eric, can I talk to you after the show? Like, sure, no problem. Show's over. And then, she was standing there. She goes, I see this. She was like a woman, kind of a figure next to you, and it has this weird circle thing on his head. This weird circle thing on his head. What she was talking about was, and nobody knew. Nobody knew this. This is something I don't really talk about on air. I had a brother, not Dr. Wu people, not Dr. Wu. I had a brother who became a sister, who transitioned over to a sister, but she got brain cancer, or not brain cancer, skin cancer on the head. So they had to remove this big bunch. It was almost like a circle-like, and they had to reskin it with some stuff on her back. But it was a dent head. She had a dent there, and she passed away. She self-caused some of it and all that, but she passed away. So how did Amber know? I mean, anybody can say there's somebody standing next to you. That's fine. But I was confused if it was a male or girl. Well, my brother became a sister. But then you say, well, that's 50-50 too. Well, what about the dent? I've never told anybody that I had a brother sister who died and actually had cancer, skin cancer, and the reason he always wore a hat. I wear a hat, but I have no dent. I have no dent. It has a dent. How does he know that?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's crazy.
It's like, okay, 50-50, got it. 50-50, got it. Wow, that's like 20 out of 80.
Wow.
I mean, all that. And
I
then,
mean, yeah.
I invited myself, and if you guys get a chance, you gotta do it. She invited myself with Matt and the Nona boss, and she did like this afterlife reading with us. and she's talking about like afterlives, like born again. She goes, Eric, you have 8 afterlife, like 8. Wow. And then that's interesting. And now some of it, she was saying it. I'm seeing this. I'm like, oh no, no, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that.
Oh
Oh,
man.
no, 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 no. It was a bad. I guess in a bad. She was telling some of the four lives. Like I see, I
Some of the
see.
future?
No, no, past.
Oh,
But the thing
past.
is, she was talking about like back in the past when I hate to say the word, there was some slavery going on back in the past, and she goes, I can't tell if you were a slave or your past life owned one. I'm like, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear. Holy Christ! I don't want to be. I'd rather be the slave.
That's
I
crazy.
don't want to find out. But she said there was 8 of them, and it's like, wow, I want to learn more. It's like I want to get deeper with her, and it's like, I go when you hear 8, like you have a million questions. Like, does it go back? When you have 8, does a one person die in the past to become to 8, or how do you have 8? I mean, how many years is that?
Mhm.
I think if somebody's life between 50 to 80 years of life, does these 8 go all the way back to the 1500s? Are they recently?
Yeah,
And what does it mean? It's like there's God. It's like I want to know so much more. I didn't get
yeah.
to find out more of the 8 because there's 3 of us, and I don't want to take up all the time on myself. But
But so
God,
she
can you
was reading
imagine
all
that if
3 of
we
you?
had? But isn't that weird? I mean, if we had 8, does that mean energy in a past life goes into your body? You
Mm.
know, I
Yeah,
mean, it's something to think about. Like, what does it mean having an afterlife in your body? Is it energy? Is it? I don't know. There's so many questions.
you're like, "I have so many questions."
It's like a rabbit hole, and that's why I'm always into this kind of stuff because I want to know even more, and you find the right people. And that's the question, right? That's why we do these shows, to find the right people, and
Mhm.
hopefully their help and their help. And I really need to have a private another sit down with her because I want to know about this 8.
Yeah,
Nona
definitely.
Boss had like 12. I'm like 12. I always heard about afterlife, and I always think maybe you had one.
Yeah.
When they say like 8 or 12, I'm like, really? God, there
Hmm.
really is so much that we don't know about.
Yeah, and that it goes back to that, I wanna know what happens after we die, right?
Yeah.
It
Like,
is. It
and
is.
but then there's, so many people that have experienced, what is it? The near death
Yeah.
experiences that come back and talk about this other world. They talk about seeing God. They talk about, meeting people family
Yeah,
members, seeing, cryptids, seeing, different things. And so it's kind of like it gets you thinking,
it does.
what,
Yeah.
why, what's
It
going on?
does.
What's there?
Yeah.
What if it's just our minds,
It,
putting everything
you
together or
don't know.
trying to, I don't know.
I don't
But
know because a day before my father passed away, and we didn't even know who was going to pass away on a Sunday. It was a Saturday. It was my daughter's birthday, believe it or not, in May. Actually, my father passed away on Memorial Day. It's perfect. He was in the military during the war, so it's kind of
oh,
weird that he passed away right on Memorial Day. But we
mm,
went to visit him on a Saturday, and he was like a little bit out of it, and he goes, "Oh my God!" He goes, "I was just talking to my mom and dad." He goes, "They were just hanging out there." And we didn't think nothing really of it, right? We didn't think nothing of it. He's probably on medication and all that.
that's,
But
yeah.
but the
And
next day, he wasn't planned. It wasn't planned that he was going to go, but he went. Is there a connection?
wow,
Like they were there, ready
to
to bring
guide
him
him.
across?
Yeah,
Mhm.
It makes you
possibly.
think because my wife even says that. Goes, how strange when he said he saw his parents and he was talking to the parents.
And that's something that's very common,
Yeah.
where they see people that they know or that have passed on already, that they come and visit them, because I was watching a documentary on that, near-death experiences, and how, uh, close to death, they always see somebody that they know, that has already passed, and then they go. And so I
Yeah.
mean, that's kinda comforting in a way, right? I mean, I
It
would definitely wanna see somebody I know come pick me up.
yeah.
"Hey," you
Wouldn't that be
know?
great? I mean, especially
Yes.
Yeah.
your family.
Yeah, exactly.
I
I'll be
mean,
like, "Yeah, okay, let's go."
and
And
before I've been doing a lot of before I got laid off my very last job, I worked for a medical place. We did medical supply machines on patients. So we did a lot of deliveries to almost every hospital there is in Washington. And we had to go in the rooms, hook up machines, and you hear these stories all the time from these people like, wow, you look like I felt like I just talked to my brother or that passed away. And you hear this from everybody. I know the sign says, well, it's the brain, it's medication. Yeah, but too many people. All these hospitals
mhm,
I've been to, of course, and every time you go to a hospital, it's always creepy. Walking to the hospital, it's so quiet.
mhm.
My wife one time she wanted to do the kitchen and she wanted these white drawers. Like, no, no white, no white. I go, I'm always in the fucking hospitals. They're always all white. Make me feel like you're dead already. We're not going to do white. I don't want white. But I hear these stories all the time, hooking up these machines, and they tell them they're ready to go, and then you hear then the next day you get an order to pick up the machine because they passed away.
Aw.
Oh,
So
God.
it's weird. It
Yeah.
makes you want to know. Now, I was on another channel. I don't think they're doing anything anymore. They're called Tippa TV,
Hmm.
and I was telling them that I just want the answer. And then he made a good point. He goes, "But Eric, but what if you get the answer you don't want? What if the answer is you go to hell or something, or you just blank out?" And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
"Yeah, that's a risk. I mean, that's a risk. I mean,
Yeah,
definitely."
you'd probably be like, "No, that's not true." You'll be in denial.
But everything is a risk, right? Even when you
Yeah,
go hunt a Bigfoot, that's a risk. You might not be able to come out alive. And
yeah.
you hear stories all the time of people doing it on paranormal. They have heart attacks and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Hmm.
because of these channels, I learned so much to slow down, and I have started slowing down, and maybe when the screen came down, when I asked something to move, and the thing is, it's Velcro up, so it's not like
Like, you can pull it, yeah.
yeah,
Like, it's
yeah, and
hard.
and you know maybe it's finding circle, and near death. I started thinking sometimes, what if? I mean, I can't prove it, but what if I had a near death experience as a baby? I mean, it's nobody really remembers stuff as a baby, but
Yeah.
I could have died and came
So do
back. Who
you
knows?
have you done any EVPs there?
Oh yeah,
Where
oh yeah. I've done EVPs. Of course, I was doing an EVP on air when that came down.
Uh-huh.
I was actually doing an EVP, and then of course I sent the EVP to my friend Hobbs, who was in your chat earlier. He
Okay.
cleaned it up to see if there was any voice behind it. We didn't catch any voice. But when I was I went up to upstate New York because that's where the wife goes. Unfortunately, I got to go to upstate New York almost every other 2 years, which I don't recommend anybody going to upstate New York. What am I saying? Fresno, upstate New York. Okay, but there's a lot of slope heads up in upstate New York, and if you guys don't know what a slope head is, I'll tell you another day. My wife's father-in-law, before he died, he told me, this is slope head country. I'm like, well, what's a slope head? Missing teeth, Carhartt jackets. Like, oh, okay. And
Missing
and it goes the county you're in. It's the number one county that has family members sleep with each other more than any other county. I'm like, really? Oh my
Wow,
god, this is slopehead country. But but
that's
but
crazy.
we went to a graveyard that's behind a high school. There's a high school, and if you walk up this hill like a half a mile, there's like a graveyard out of nowhere. It's where people died in 1800s with real
Wow.
sickness and all that. And we walked around with the EVP, and we caught one sound. There was one sound, and then I have my wife's grandma. or her grandma, not my grandma. They have a house where they have a graveyard on their property. So
Wow.
cool. They actually have a graveyard on their property. There's some houses up in upstate New York where they got graves yards on their property. It just happens. It's so weird. And then neighborhood, they go there, they'll mow it themselves because they all own it, and we just an EVP. So I did a whole thing. Actually, I think on my channel, I think you got to go back. I don't know, about a year. That EVP on that graveyard up in upstate New York is on there somewhere.
Okay.
And I think it is called Upstate New York. And then actually we made a goofy
Upstate New York.
We made a goofy Bigfoot video that we were walking in the woods hunting for Bigfoot. We were just having fun, and then we had their kid that had a Chewbacca outfit jump out of a tree. Right?
Oh,
It's for fun, right? And I put it up on my channel. Oh my God, people in the Bigfoot community got so pissed at me. That's embarrassing. You're making fun of it. No, we're not. We're just having fun.
Yeah.
To show people.
Wow.
And that really showed me that you got to have a thick skin doing this. You know that. I mean, you're gonna have people that's are gonna bash and say you're making fun of it, and all that. And trust me, right? You think that I have so many friends in the Bigfoot community because Bigfoot Anon and all those channels. Almost every single Bigfoot channel on Reddit has all banned me.
Oh, really?
Yes. I'll post a Bigfoot video. Get out of here. Get out of here. Just because I talk paranormal and UFOs. And it's like, and you learn that there's people out there that still don't want to combine the communities. And I don't want that. I'm going to combine the communities. Now, is that going to grow your channel a lot at first? No. Because, it's proven on YouTube that if you really want to grow your channel, you usually stick with one subject.
Right. Yeah, that's what I've been told. But
I can't do that. I can't talk about Bigfoot every day. I want to talk about UFOs. I want to talk about paranormal.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
They're all connected.
Yeah, that's the thing with us too. I really like, talking about anything. And I know that it's better, like you said, if you stick to one thing, but I feel like there's so many things that we just want to talk about that it's like, why? Like I want to, and I mean, we've been doing it that way, and we're okay with whatever, we're okay with it. Even if we stay small, that's fine with me. I don't really. Fine. Yeah.
What you get good people from the channel. Yeah. That's all you need. Large wood areas. There's a lot of upstate New York has rolling hills. There's a lot of people be surprised how many trees and mountains are actually in New York. They're not like mountains, they're more like rolling hills, but there's a lot of activity. People in upstate New York. Listen, for paranormal, back east is the key, is awesome because back east is the oldest part of the United States. That's where the majority of the people have died in this world. So there's a lot of great.
I was going to ask you, since you said you were from Fresno, did you ever look up or hear about the night crawlers? Oh
yeah, I did. We did a show on night crawlers and all that. I mean, we heard that, but I mean, night crawlers wasn't. It's such a. There's only a small percentage of people that would even talk about night crawlers. It's not. It's not even on the same wavelength as the Mothman or those folklores. The night crawlers is very, 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 very tiny, but there's something there. I mean, I think every city, every place has their whatever it is, and it could be all the same things, like Connor got me to start really looking into fairies, and what says what a fairy looks like? What if the night crawler was technically a fairy? It's not like everybody has a direct drawing of what these things supposed to look like. And Fresno is part of the Nevada Triangle.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Well, Fresno, there's, I mean, listen, we're all close to Nevada. It's all close to, the Central Valley desert.
Yeah.
Deserts to Nevada. That's where all the experimental planes or that's where crashes are happening. They're all taken to these deserts.
Yeah, the deserts.
Experiments on these I mean, everybody thinks of California. There's like two Californias. You got all the ocean side, then you got the valley, right?
Yes.
And then you got the flat. You guys ever drove to Fresno to Las Vegas? Pure desert.
It's desert.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of experimentals for experiments on aliens, ships, and all that. And I believe that some of our technology on these planes do come from UFOs. I truly believe that. And I think that's why I think there is a lot of sightings that's in California and Nevada, because that's where you're going to be doing all the testing. I put a video today of somebody shot a flying object near Area 51 still. I'm not saying it's not a drone, and I'm not proving that it is, but there's still footages of floating things all around that area, all around Nevada and California.
Yeah.
There's something there.
I know. Yeah, definitely. I think there is. Especially, you remember when they were going to storm Area 51 and there was like a whole thing.
People laugh at that. I supported that. Of course, I couldn't go. Listen, to get everybody together, sometimes it's not the event of you're going to storm. It's like the event of getting everybody together. When people, I know a lot of younger people don't understand this about music. There was a time in the 70s, 80s, and 90s where everybody got in back of pickup trucks, 4 or 5 people. Going to concerts was a huge event. That's where you met everybody. Music's kind of not like that. It's not personal almost a lot with people, almost no more. But when you see that stuff like Area 51 events, everybody's getting together. It's like a con. It's like a Comic-Con.
Yeah.
You're getting together with your friends.
They did. They turned it into like a little
event.
Yeah, like an event.
I remember going to Nevada because I have family. All my family's in California and Nevada. I remember when people were going up before the Burning Man became the Burning Man. I remember a few people went to the Burning Man before it was even an event. They go out there and burn artwork and all that. And then it became this huge event. Mm-hmm. But what's wrong with that? You get together, have fun. Every single year, I go to the Emerald City Comic-Con. I go hang out with my nerds, talk about comics and movies. And you get to talk free, talk about people who are dressing up in outfits.
Yeah.
To me,
I wanted to go. I was like, oh, it looks so fun. And you get to camp out there, and it looks so fun, but
that's why I show a lot of videos sometimes of Bigfoot cons and all that, because I try to tell people, you see these events, you should go.
Yeah.
Talk to these people.
Definitely.
Be with these people are like you. You're gonna learn stuff. And my wife said one year we went to Disneyland when they opened up the new Star Wars land, and they have a bar. They actually have a bar in there. And they set you in to a bar, and I'm sitting next to this guy, and we were just nerdy talking about everything about Star Wars. My wife was just like you're just a little kid. You're in heaven because you're talking about someone who had the same love as you. She was laughing because we were just like being nerd deep. But that's what these cons are for. That's what these Bigfoot cons is. It's to get around with people,
hang out with your people.
Area 51. If I had the money and opportunity, I wish I was there. Listen, I know I'm not going to get some military base. I was in the military. They'll shoot your ass down.
Yeah, they will.
Going to get in. But most people know you're not going to get in. It's just being around with other people with the same thoughts as you.
Yeah. And it was cool, like what they ended up doing with it. And I was like, man, if they keep doing that, maybe I'll go one time or one day and hang out. But
it's just be fun. I mean, it's bring a lot of sunscreen with you.
I know.
That's
in the desert.
I don't know if you guys ever saw that movie, Paul. I love that movie, Paul. Where with
the little alien.
The little alien.
Yeah.
And those 2 British guys that they came to the earth. They had the map because they're going to all the hot spots. I'm thinking that wouldn't that be fun? I'm serious. If you could just get an RV, get a map of all the hot spots and be able just to travel around the United States getting it. I try to pitch that to Discovery Plus, but they haven't responded back to me yet.
Oh, well, I hope they do.
Just to travel, go to every single UFO hotspots and all that. I think that shit be fun. I'll be down.
Yeah. Hopefully that they answer. Like, we would definitely watch that. But yeah, so I know that we're getting close to time here,
Yeah.
but we appreciate you being on and sharing, and hopefully we can do this again because it was super fun.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
I wish I didn't have to leave in 5 minutes to pick up the wife. I'm like, I should just strand here in downtown Seattle. And says, take the bus. I'm
No,
home.
don't do
And she'd
that.
be like, no, it's movie night. Aren't we going to movies tonight? Yeah,
Yep.
7:20. It's only
Yeah.
4:26. But no, this is fun.
Yeah, we
And
appreciate
I
it.
mean it when I say there's nothing better to see young people doing this, getting it on the air. I don't know if you ever saw that movie Pump Up the Volume. It's one of the best pirate radio kind of movie ever. Christian Slater. Check it out, people. I mean, I'm seriously, Pump Up the Volume is like it's like the pre-days of Art Bells when there was no social media. It was about taking over the airwaves. And I remember Christian Slater riding in that car telling people, get on the airs, get your voice heard, steal the airs back, steal all of it back. And back then you had to steal with the radio and you would get arrested with the FCC because you're breaking regulations. But now we got social media. We got YouTube. And I tell everybody has a voice. All of you has a voice. Some people are better at it. Some people got that magic, like David, David Space Out Radio. He's got that magic radio voice.
Yes.
None of us don't. Doesn't matter. You still have a voice. You can still speak, right? You can still say a word. Get out there. Talk about it. Man. And thank you, too, for bringing me on. And one day, I do mean it. I do want to get another Young Gun panel. Get Matt back on. Get Bigfoot Connor. Well, Bigfoot Connor's always on with us on Wednesdays.
Yeah, let us know. We'll definitely join.
And get everybody on because I like to do an appreciation channel. Like, man, this is the future. I know it. And if I could do anything to help out, I want to. Because I want this stuff to continue. And you two have the passion for it. And that's what you need the most.
Yeah, you definitely do.
So yeah, I guess I got to go pick up the wife. But thank you so much for letting me on. And I hope people in the chat, hope you guys enjoy too.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. And thank you everybody that showed up and commented and interacted. We really appreciate everybody. And
see you next time.
Go over and check out his channel.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure everybody already is on your channel, but
if not, I'm gonna mirror this probably Sunday. So if people don't know your channel that's on mine, they'll see you there and they want to come over here.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. But thank you everybody and have a great Friday, the 13th.
Leprechaun Day.
Leprechaun Day,
people.
Go have some fun.
Beer and leave it outside for the leprechauns. They like to drink beer.
But thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
I'll talk to you guys.
Bye.
Bye.